With updated steering and chassis tuning, BMW's already good 4 Series gets a fair bit better. Munich, Germany. The BMW 4 Series lineup gets a number of updates for the 2018 model year, though I'll forgive you for not being able to immediately spot the differences. Keen-eyed Bimmerfills will notice the reshaped LED running lights up front, the new light design inside the tail lamps, and the redesigned alloy wheels. But those tweaks don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. The important updates are found beneath the surface, where BMW has tweaked the 4 Series steering and suspension setups to make it an even more enjoyable driver's tool. Pros: better steering. BMW sort of lost its way with steering feel a few years ago, its electrically assisted setups proving more numb than entertaining. But things are slowly improving, and the 2018 4 Series offers more feedback through the helm than before. There's still a noticeable dead spot on center, but weight builds progressively while cornering, and the whole experience feels more natural, more involving than before. Composed chassis. 3 different suspension setups are available: Standard, M Sport, and Adaptive M, and all get a bit stiffer for 2018. The M Sport car tested here provides great, lovely powertrain. The 440i, nay 435i, uses BMW's turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-6, with 320 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. The twin-scroll turbocharger kicks in early, allowing full torque to come on strong at 1,380 RPM. With a snappy 8-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel drive, the 440i will hit 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds. The all-wheel drive version shaves 0.2 seconds off that time. Standing start quickness aside, the 3.0-liter engine offers smooth, effortless power all throughout the rev range. It's a fantastic engine. Cons: drab interior. Get inside an Audi S5 or a Mercedes-AMG C4 and you're greeted with interiors that make a statement. Audi's cabin speaks to tech, Mercedes takes a more stylish, luxurious approach. The 4 Series interior fails to make any real statement, especially in the cold color palette of black and gray seen here. Warmer hues are available, but the overall design and the layout of the controls leave a bit to be desired, in contrast to its key German rivals. Speaking of which, the competition is hotter than ever. Audi and Mercedes both offer special cars in this segment, the S5 and AMG C4. Each of those coupes has more power, and both stick out in my mind. BMW's new 5 Series now offers no compromise plug-in power. Munich, Germany. On a cold, foggy morning in the Alps southeast of Munich, right along the Austrian border, I don't notice any of the BMW 530 ES hybrid wizardry working. It's there, silently and effortlessly and unobtrusively switching between gasoline and electric power. But seeing as how I can barely see 10 feet in front of me at this point, with unexpected patches of snow and ice tugging at my confidence during high-altitude cornering, it's safe to say my mind's focus is elsewhere. Down at sea level, on the flat, winding roads leading back toward Munich, I'm hustling along like I would in any other version of the fantastic new 5 Series. Like the 530i and 540i, this is an executive sedan that's packed with luxury and an overwhelming amount of technology. And this 530e only enhances the experience with a bit more fuel economy, to boot. This is definitely the kind of hybrid driving that I could easily, plug into. Pros. Electric boost. The 530e mates a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine to an electric motor with a 9.2 kWh battery. The gas engine itself is good for 180 horsepower and 255 pound-feet of torque, with the electric motor. Increased range. When Jake Holmes reviewed the 330e, he rightly pointed out that its 14 miles of electric range seems like enough, but in reality, it's not. Turn on the air conditioning or go heavy on the throttle a couple of times, and that alleged 14 miles is gone before you know it. Good thing, then, that the 530e uses a larger battery pack, 9.2 kWh versus 7.6, which means it'll do around 30 miles of EV driving. That's much more usable day to day. Wireless charging. I'm still getting used to wireless charging for my iPhone, but BMW will soon allow drivers to wirelessly charge the entire car. Equip your home with one of BMW's charging pads, drive the 530e over it, and juice up the battery without using the usual plug port. The details are still being finalized, but in the meantime, should you choose to use a conventional plug, the 530e will charge in less than 3 hours on a 240-volt, level 2, outlet. The only plug-in option in its class. Competitors like the Audi A6, Jaguar XF, and Mercedes-Benz E-Class don't yet offer a hybrid alternative. What's more, the base price of a 530e is only $200 more than a 530i. Audi's sporty S5 has blossomed into a lovely Grand Tourer. Palm Springs, California. When the Audi S5 launched in 2007, I thought it was the car to have. It was beautiful, yet refined, luxurious, and accommodating. Its 4.2-liter, naturally aspirated V8 sang a sonorous song, and was paired to a lovely 6-speed manual transmission. It even had freaking LED running lights. Those were hot shit back then, remember? Today, the S5 is very different, yet in many ways, very similar. It's still handsome, luxurious, and now, packed with a ton of technology. And yes, it's still good to drive. The V8 is gone in favor of a forced induction V6, and you can't get the manual transmission anymore, but the S5 moves down the road with confidence and poise, and plenty of available power. If anything, the modern S5 represents a car that's matured, less of a sports car, and more a Grand Tourer. Pros. Turbo for the win. Lament the death of the S5's supercharged V6 all you want, the truth is, this turbo engine is way better. It makes 354 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, meaning it'll sprint to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds, just like its four-door S4 brother. There's a huge wave. Comfy and quiet. Every time I get into a new Audi, I'm impressed with the interior. The S5's approach to luxury is through simplicity and modern design. With plush sport seats, you don't have to get them in bright red, like these. Leather, Alcantara, and aluminum all look and feel upscale here. You'll feel more special inside the S5 than you will in a comparable BMW 4 Series. a car for every occasion. The S5 does a lot of things well. It's comfortable, quiet, and easy to drive around town. It eats up highway miles with pleasure. And on the twisty roads in the mountains outside of Palm Springs, it takes to cornering with precision and agility. You'll want to switch into dynamic mode of Audi's Drive Select system if canyon carving is on your to-do list. Cons. What happened to your pretty face? All of the soft edges of the last generation car seem to have been sharpened here, and when viewed from the front, I don't love the result. It looks like the car is trying to put on a mean face, even though it's such a nice guy. The handsome, restrained styling of previous S5s will always be my favorite. Too little sport, too much. Swapping a supercharger for a turbo and adding loads of comfort and tech, Audi's new S4 sedan is better than ever. Palm Springs, California. There is a long stretch of road in the mountains outside of Palm Springs where the 2018 Audi S4 really shines. Its new, turbocharged engine takes deep breaths of air and sends a wallop of power to all four wheels. The S4 is flat and agile, ascending and descending the mountain roads with an urgency that begs you, just keep going. It is an impressive driver's car, this S4. But the big reason to love is that it isn't just an enthusiast's tool. The sedan strikes a wonderful balance between aggression and comfort. To use the tired Goldilocks analogy, the S4 is not too hot, but not too cold. It offers tremendous fun on the right road, but buttons up and puts on a tie for commuting and general city driving. Nothing about that formula is upset with this new 2018 model. It's still a great luxury/sport sedan, packed with Audi's latest arsenal of performance chops and premium tech. If you like the handsome new lines of Audi's 5th generation A4, you'll find nothing to complain about here. In fact, the S4 only offers. Nestled inside the comfy cabin of the S4, I'm hard-pressed to find fault. From the simple climate controls to the large dial for the MMI touch interface, everything is organized in clean simplicity. There's ample room in front or rear for adult passengers. The A4 is a larger car than you might think. I could easily live with this modern, techy cockpit every day, though I still find the Mercedes-AMG C43's accommodations to be a bit more plush, overall. Road and wind noise are nearly absent, even at higher speeds along breezy Interstate 10, heading out of Palm Springs. Gone is the supercharged V6 from the last generation S4, in its place a more powerful and modern 3.0-liter V6 with turbocharged assist. The engine is some 31 pounds lighter than the outgoing Lump, and uses a single, twin-scroll turbocharger to deliver maximum performance at lower revs. The result is 354 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, gains of 21 HP and 44 lb-ft compared to the previous S4. Audi quotes a 0 to 60 time of 4.4 seconds, which is not only half a second quicker than the old S4, but 0.2 and 0.4 seconds quicker than a comparable Mercedes C43 or BMW. Whether in stop-and-go traffic, out on the highway, or hustling along winding roads at high elevation, the S4 is well suited for a lot of driving styles. But that doesn't just come naturally. I'm actively switching between auto and dynamic modes in the car's Drive Select system, because the differentiation in personalities here is wider than in many other Autos I've tested. Auto is great for around town and commuting, but if enthusiastic motoring is in your future, absolutely toggle into dynamic, where everything gets louder and more urgent. Along the same lines, I strongly recommend the $1,500 dynamic steering option, with its variable ratio setup. Here, weight builds progressively and naturally, with good amounts of feedback. Left in auto, or without the dynamic steering, the S4 reveals a pretty sizable on-center dead spot, something common in a lot of Volkswagen Group products. It doesn't ruin the driving experience, necessarily, but if canyon carving is high on your sports sedan to-do list, I recommend opening your wallet a little wider. The standard 18-inch wheels on 245/40 series Hankook summer tires offer a controlled, confident ride quality, though I'm left wishing for a touch more rear-end grip during hard cornering. The S4's nose. Supremely easy to drive and spacious enough to bring your friends, the new E-Class Coupe is a joy. Barcelona, Spain. The new Mercedes E-Class Coupe is most at home on fast, flowing Spanish highways. The 4-seat coupe cosets its passengers in a lovely cabin, keeps road and wind noise to a minimum, accelerates, brakes, steers, and even changes autonomously, and powers away from toll booths with an ultra-smooth, torquey V6 engine. It is a first-class executive conveyance that just happens to be bundled in a very pretty two-door wrapper. Based on the E-Class sedan we know and love, the coupe strikes a far more evocative look. Like the C and S-Class coupes that bookend it in the Mercedes lineup, the roofline plunges down toward a rounded rear with big shoulders above the back wheels. From behind the car, it's noticeable just how much the greenhouse tapers toward the back of the E-Class, and also how sharply angled inward the windows are, all of which helps with aerodynamics. Clean body sides are broken up only by two subtle character lines, while the nose recapitulates Mercedes' classic large grille look, with smart headlights at either side that extend onto the front fenders. The car's wheelbase is actually 2.6. At 190.0 inches end-to-end, this E-Class Coupe is nearly half a foot longer than its predecessor, improving interior room in both rows of seats. It's probably a safe bet the majority of these cars will only ever have one or two occupants, but the ability to fit fully grown adults is still an important selling point. Rear legroom is up 2.9 inches from the old E-Coupe, while rear headroom has increased 0.6 inch and shoulder room is up an impressive 2.0 inches. All told, it's now spacious enough that I can sit in back without slouching or scrunching my knees up to my chin. Mercedes also claims there's more leg and headroom in back than in the E-Coupe's only real rival, the BMW 6 Series. While we don't yet have hard numbers to do an objective comparison, I can tell you subjectively the E-Class is far roomier than the cramped BMW. Other parts of the cabin carry over from the rest of the E-Class line, which is a good thing. From the driver's seat, you stare directly at a 12.3-inch full-color display that serves as the instrument cluster. There are 3 display modes to choose from, 2 of which emulate physical. The real treat, though, is from getting behind the wheel. The Turbocharged V6 is familiar from dozens of other Mercedes models, with 329 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque, but familiarity hasn't bred contempt. It's impeccably smooth even pushed toward its red line, pulls enthusiastically from low revs thanks to quick responding turbochargers, and works in perfect harmony with the slick shifting 9-speed automatic. Acceleration is more or less effortless, and while the subdued engine note is probably ideal for most potential E-Coupe owners, it saps much of the excitement and involvement out of brisk driving. At speed, most outside noises are capably filtered out before they reach occupants' ears, though there's a little wind whistling off the mirrors. With the suspension set to comfort mode, adaptive dampers are optional, and adaptive air suspension is another option. The chassis ably copes with choppy roads, too, but avoids floatiness. Doing 130 km per hour, 81 miles per hour, in the outside lane of Spain's autovias is quiet, relaxing, and easy. As in most versions of the new E-Class, steering feedback is pretty much non-existent, but the way the weighting builds with speed and steering input imparts great confidence. It's unerringly precise and easy to position. As on the E-Class sedan, the Coupe has semi-autonomous features abound. Drive Pilot Distronic Adaptive Cruise Control has Steering Pilot, which can help steer the car within its lane for brief periods, plus Active Lane Change Assist, which will automatically change lanes when the driver uses the turn signal. And Evasive Steering Assist adds steering torque when it detects that the driver is attempting to avoid an obstacle. Though exact pricing hasn't been confirmed yet, the new E-Class Coupe shouldn't cost too much more than its predecessor when it reaches the US this summer. For the rear-wheel drive E400, expect a list price somewhere around $56,000, with the all-wheel drive E400 MATIC potentially starting somewhere around $60,000. Standard equipment on both includes powered leather seats, a sunroof, the 12.3-inch common screen with navigation, 64-color LED ambient lighting, push-button start, a backup camera, and Car2X vehicle-to-vehicle communication. The many available option packs include the aforementioned semi-autonomous drive features, a head-up display, wireless phone charging, massaging seats, the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, and air suspension. And, of course, various different wheel, color, and interior trim choices are on offer. As to more performance, we probably won't get an E63 variant of this car, but an E43.